as he can. And you mentioned something. So, tell me something. Growing up, and I know you come from a pedigree, for lack of a better phrase, it's a pedigree of people who stood up to government.
Yes.
Take me back.
I come from a family of real warriors of this nation. My great-grandfather, Senator John Kebabso, was the first senator of Kisii in the Majimbo system after independence. And my late grandfather, Honorable George Morara, the late, was a member of parliament for West Mogrango. Unfortunately, both of them lost their lives in circumstances that cannot be coincidence. Honorable George Morara, for instance, died in an assassination because of questioning the death of Tom Mboya. Honorable George Morara had traveled to Zambia. He was on a trip, a parliamentary meeting trip to Zambia, and the killer of Tom Mboya, apparently the government had said that it had charged him with murder and had hanged him, sentenced him to death and hanged him. But when my grandfather was in Zambia, he found the killer of Tom Mboya.
In Zambia?
Yeah, and he was like, oh my, oh my. The guy was there taking alcohol in a hotel. I was like, oh, I thought you died. I thought they hanged you. When he came to Nairobi, he was very livid. He called a press conference and said, we want to exhume the grave of the killer of Tom Mboya and confirm that this person was actually killed. Apparently, the government had organized for him to run away to Zambia. So when he went for a fundraiser in Kakamega, after the fundraiser, as he was driving towards Kisumu, a lorry hit his vehicle. A lorry that was never found and never traced, the lorry. It hit his vehicle head-on intentionally. And then his vehicle rolled down the hill. And the people got out of the lorry and went to the vehicle. And when they realized he has not died, they hit him with blunt objects until he died. Yeah, that is a gruesome death of George Morara. But he lives on. His spirit lives in us. It lives in the rest of the family. And much as his death was tragic, we've already knelt down and prayed with my family, and we've broken generational, patterns. And I don't think that merely because it happened in my family, it will still happen to me.
That's what worries me and worries a lot of people, is that lineage of yours of people who were killed by, in mysterious circumstances. Are you not worried for yourself?
Well, if I worry too much, I'll not do what I'm doing. Because what I'm doing is extremely risky in the sense that I'm pursuing corruption and saying it as it is, as somebody else would not say it. And in the pursuit of corruption, there are people who have benefited from it, and these people are powerful. And they hold positions that are extremely powerful, and they control even our security agencies. I've had incidences where my phone is tracked, my phone is tapped. I've had incidences where our vehicles that number plates cannot be traced on NTSA hang around my house. I've had such incidences. And even as I go to look for this project, remember some of these projects are in the most interior parts of our nation, sometimes in forests. For example, yesterday when I was doing the water housing program, that's inside a forest, so anything could happen. But I leave my life to God, and I believe that God is going to preserve me as he preserved King David during the time he was being pursued by King Saul, because he had a great future for him. So if I worry too much, I will not do what I'm doing. But I understand that my family is worried. My kids are too small. I have 2 children. They are too small. They don't understand what's going on. Yeah. But my parents, my wife, my uncles, my aunts, my best friends, my lawyers, they are worried. But much as they are worried, they know who I am. And they know I must do what I'm doing. So
tell me something. Where did you grow up?
I had a difficult background because, you see, my mother gave birth to me when she was still in high school, and she had to go back to school, and I was raised by my aunt. My aunt was now my teacher in school because she was a teacher, and my mom at home. So my mom had to finish school, then come back for me. So I was raised up in Kisii. I went to a local primary school called Nyankononi Primary School. I used to walk barefoot to school. Then later I came to Nairobi. I went to New Life Junior Academy. Then later I went back to Kisii to St. Andrew Kawa Boys, where I was number 5 in Nyanza province in KCPE. I made my way to Maseno School. I was very talented in drama and music. I brought a lot of trophies to the school. But somewhere along my line in Maseno School, I was expelled from school.
Why?
This thing that I'm doing.
So it started back then?
Oh my, I started a long time ago. So I think I got into a confrontation with the administration, and it had something to do with the prefects and how much power they have and how the administration treats them. So for that reason, there's one time actually when I was naughty. This one I deserved it, because we had a small punishment for not writing notes for geography at the school farm, and we had music at Maseno University across the fence. And decided hakuna vile muziki inaweza kwenda cheza hapa across the fence. Nope. And we are here suffering.
Yes.
So like the prodigal sons, we crossed the fence. So for that one, I deserved it. I was suspended for sneaking out of school. And my mom told me, you know, I didn't have a budget for, I was sent for a roll of barbed wire. And my mom told me she's not going to buy a roll of barbed wire. I should find a way of finding it. So nikapiga hustle kidogo kuosha maji vyombo, nikaletea my mom, nikamwambia we have a roll of barbed wire. I was readmitted back to Maseno School, but somewhere along the way when I got involved into student activism, I found myself out of the system. Then I hung around hustling. I started hustling when I'm 16 years old. By the time I was 16, I could afford a belt, a good belt. So at least nilijipanga mapema. But I decided that I have to go back to school because you can be a rich fool. So I went back to school and joined Form 4 straight. In fact, part of Form 3 sijasoma mimi. Nilienda hiyo shule, the principal, I told him, I don't have time to repeat. I just want to do this Form 4 and get whatever I will get. Yeah. Now the principal told me, I'll not send you away for school fees. It's called Matthews Otieno. But I'm only giving you one task. I need you to score an A. And I delivered. You
scored an A? I
promise and I deliver. In fact, even before I delivered the A, I took the school to the first National Science Congress and a science project for physics where I was using transistors to form logic gates. And these logic gates, I was using them to do automatic ventilation for hospitals. And then I went to the first National Drama Festival, beating Maseno School actually. Yeah, then I got the first A, since it was established in 1979. In fact, the points I got, nobody has gotten them. Yeah, ever since I left the school.
And then you decided to study law?
No, I didn't want to study law because there are too many lawyers in the family.
Okay.
I even have a cousin who went to Harvard Law School.
Whoa.
Yeah, so I didn't want to study law. I was running away from it. So I applied for other things like dental surgery, like architecture, quantity survey. But you see, the Lord, our God, He knows you more than you know yourself. I ended up in law school, Kenyatta University Law School, and I enjoyed my part there. I've done many things. In terms of hustling, I've done many things. I had a hotel at Kawangware 56. I lived at a single room in Kawangware, Soko Mjinga, where we were paying 1,800. I've sold avocado that used to come from Kisii then for at 5 bob. Then we sell it at 15 bob. Used to make good profit. Should go back to that business.
And you still have a business going on?
Yeah, I even taught mathematics and physics at Kabiro Secondary School. Before I got saved, I had a wines and spirit in Kao and Daniel Kao Skari. When I gave my life to Christ, I realized I cannot sell alcohol and be able to commit myself to church.
Right.
Because I gave my life to Christ and decided, hiyo nimewacha. I've done online writing. I've tried to sell insurance. I've tried to sell land. I've done a number of things. And today, yes, I do furniture business. It's called Morara Home Furniture. We've employed over 85 Kenyans. Yeah, directly I have 85 employees now.
And how is it doing?
It's doing better. Yeah, it's doing much better.
Is it in Nairobi?
It is in Nairobi. We have a branch in Nairobi in Utawala. We have a branch on Kangundo Road. We have a branch in Eldoret Annex. We have a branch in Bamburi in Mombasa.
Wow.
Yeah.
Furniture?
Yes.
Like a bench like this, I mean, you know, furniture?
Yeah, furniture.
You can do a bench?
A very nice one. I would like to replace this one. I can, naeza tenga.
Hakuna tenda. Tutakupatia hiyo.
Yes, we do good furniture. At least we believe so. And I believe if this country was fair, if the economic policies of this country were fair, by now, I should be headed towards being on the Forbes list. But because the economy is somehow skewed in a way that unless you are a person who lacks integrity, you're not able to grow very well through the ranks. We've stagnated somewhere as business people because of access to capital. Capital is too expensive.
Absolutely. So listen, a moment ago, or earlier on, you were talking about how you were at KICC.
Yes.
And government spokesman Isaac Morara called you over, took down your number.
Yes.
And he said, before you know it, before you knew it, the president had called you.
Yes.
And you spoke to the president.
Yes.
Personally.
Yes.
Alikwambiaje?
I can't say.
You can't say what he told you?
No.
But he called you?
Yes.
Na muliongea for what, 5 minutes, 10 minutes?
Say about 5 minutes.
5 minutes?
Yeah.
All right. On the line right now, joining us is State House spokesperson, Hussein Mohammed. Hussein, if you can hear me, good evening.
Evening, Jeff.
Yeah, good to hear from you. I have Morara Kebabso here, and I'm sure you've been listening to this story here that the president called him at one point to talk to him or convince him to, stop doing what he's doing. What are your thoughts?
Jeff, it's just unbelievable. I mean, I wasn't following, but I was told about this. I'm just shocked at what the gentleman, Morara, is saying. I wonder why he would lie on national TV that the president called him. I mean, it's ridiculous that I have to respond to this, but let me do it because you, Jeff, you're my friend. We work together, but you let it happen on TV as well, on national TV. So, for the record, such a call never happened. It's a figment of his imagination. But what is more shocking, Jeff, is that you can allow anyone to come on TV and tell you such a thing without demanding any proof or substantiation, and you just buy it, hook, line, and sinker. I mean, all you should have done, at the very least, is say that those are his words, and it's an alleged claim from him, not just to accept and say that, okay, the president called him. Anybody can say that. Many people say that. What Morara and many Kenyans are doing is good, by the way. Morara, what you are doing is very good. It's part of accountability, and the president welcomes this. That is what democracy is all about. Okay, but let me just say that even as we talk about democracy and we hold the government accountable, it is important that we do it truthfully. Right. I said this before, Jeff. I responded to Morara before, and it's actually just reiterating what is in the Kenya Kwanza Manifesto, that the president promised to complete stalled projects, including roads. That is what he's doing. All these examples that are being floated of these projects, the roads and projects that were being launched, and most of them you'll see were launched or whose construction was supposed to begin or began way before President Ruto assumed office. The mess was back then. The question is, why did all this mess happen back then? Okay, but as a responsible president, President Ruto is doing what ought to have been done, and he's doing it now because he promised and he will do it.
All right.
And again, I reiterate that he welcomes all those holding the government accountable to do so vigorously, but also truthfully.
All right, stand by, Hussein. Let's just get a response from Morara himself because, it's a he said sort of situation. Morara, Hussein Mohammed says, you're a liar.
Stand by. It's not a he said, she said thing.
Stand by, Hussein.
It's a citizen, Jeff. It's a citizen claiming to have been called by the president. Let him substantiate it. You just don't accept it and then you say it's a he said, she said thing. That is not right.
That's why we're giving him the floor, Hussein. Stand by.
Well, when it comes to truth, so far, my record speaks for myself. Everything that I've told Kenyans has turned out to be truthful, and even him, Hussein Mohammed, has not been able to controvert any of the projects that I have visited in the 19 counties.
But regarding the call from the president,
regarding the call from the president, I wonder why Hussein purports to know who the president calls and who he doesn't call. I have the number of the president here. I'd like her to call the president and ask him Because Hussein wouldn't know.
Yes.
Hold on, Hussein.
Yes, this is ridiculous. No, I'm not going to engage in this. This is ridiculous. It's very simple.
This is the number of the president.
He's saying he was COVID. I'm telling you, no such thing happened. Let him substantiate it. Let's not do a back and forth here. It's not worth it. I've said Morara and team and any other Kenyan can hold the government accountable, but do it truthfully. I'm not going to engage in a back and forth about whether the president called him. I'm telling you, the president did not call him. I work for the president. It's very simple. Let Morara substantiate. There are many ways to do that.
All right, Morara, substantiate.
Okay.
I don't think it is necessary anymore. I've told you, here's the number of the president, isn't it? It's here. His Excellency Dr. William Samoei Ruto. And I don't know why Hussein purports to know who the president calls and who he doesn't. I did not say I spoke with Hussein Mohammed. I said I spoke with the president. But that set aside, all right? Whether we spoke with the president or didn't speak with him, the focus right now is why does the president lie that he has launched this project, it's going to happen, and it never happens. Between me and the president, who is a liar? Because the president is the same person that promised the people of Mbeere North that they are going to have a KMTC, which they do not have to date. The president is the same one who said he will cut his advisors by 50%, but never did so. The president is the same person that said there will be no Harambes in church, and he lied. The next weekend, he was at a Harambe in church. He is the same person that said he has set aside 18.7 billion for JSS teachers to be hired permanently. It now turns out it was a lie. So now, between myself and them, who would be lying?
Yeah, Hussein, talk to me.
Yes, I will not continue this conversation. I respect you and I respect Morara. It's very simple. A lot of Kenyans have the president's number, by the way. Let Morara substantiate that the president called him. Let's not look at other sideshows. Because he's lying and he's running away from the question. Can he substantiate? It's that simple.
Tell me, Hussein, when you say he's lying, did you speak to the president and the president said he never spoke to Morara?
Yes, I'm asking you, the onus is on Morara to substantiate. He said he was told.
That's what he said. That's what he said.
Yeah. So can he prove that he was told? Jeff, will you allow anybody in Kenya to just walk into your studio and say he was told by the president and you just believe it? I have been a journalist. You have to ask him to substantiate that.
But he did. I mean, he told us how.
He hasn't. He hasn't.
All right.
I've asked him to. He's going to other issues. He's not substantiating it.
What substantiation do you want? Do you want the call back from Safaricom?
Yeah, he can prove it.
All right. Let's have another interview tomorrow. I go and get my call records.
He'll get his callbacks from Safaricom and he can substantiate. Will that make you happier?
It's not about being happy. It's about saying the truth, Jeff. It's about saying the truth, and it's about anybody who wants to hold the accountable doing it, the government accountable doing it truthfully. It's about the media doing what is right. It's that simple. All you have to do as Citizen TV or as Jeff Koinange, who's my friend and I respect, and maybe after this call you and I will laugh again together. But, Jeff, it's a claim. Let it be a claim that he was allegedly called. It will not be like a fact. That's the problem.
All right, Hussein.
I reiterate one more time, Morara, we love what you're doing. Keep up what you're doing, but do it truthfully. Don't lie.
All right.
I've said this before and I'll say it again. And all those projects you're saying, look at the date when they began, and here is a responsible president completing projects that were stalled. You should ask, what really happened? Why were all these projects being launched? And then midway or just a month after the launch, all those years back, before the president assumed office, why were they stalling? There was a problem, a fundamental problem. Okay? But the president is doing what is right now, is completing those projects because he promised to complete them. On the Harambe thing you're talking about, the president made a suggestion in State House. He went, yes, to a church, and no Harambe was done, Morara. The people talked about the church, and the president proposed that he can help finish build a church. That is not, I mean, you can donate your money. That is not Harambe. You know what Harambe is? It's actually the public coming together and raising money together and announcing, I'm giving this amount, I'm giving this amount, I'm giving this amount. So let's do this thing truthfully. But Morara, we have nothing against you. We love what you're doing, and many Kenyans, but do it truthfully. Thank you, Jeff, and thank you, Mara.
And thank you, Hussein. Maybe you should be doing a lot more speaking for the government, Hussein. We hardly ever hear from you, but, you know, it's good that you do speak out. We appreciate that. Hussein Mohammed, the State House spokesperson there.
He's just doing his job.
He's doing his job, and, you know.
I'm so sad that they have an honest man lying for them.
You think he's lying?
He is. This is the number of the president. We can send
and
him,
you said he called.
We can send him 10 bob on M-Pesa and see whether the name is William Ruto. I mean, here it is. Okay, I don't think it's appropriate for me to start saying the number of the president on live television.
Don't forget,
but let me just show you. Let's send him.
No, don't send him.
Let's send the president 10 bob.
Remember during the Gen Z protests, right?
Yeah.
Walisema watasalimia rais.
Yes.
Na wakamsalimu.
So it will not be responsible of me to share the number of the president.
No.
But
no.
It's okay, whatever Hussein says.
But the number was all over the net.
According to me, okay, according to me, it's not really about whether the president called me or didn't call me. Yeah, as I told you, much as the call was there, and much as whatever we discussed, out of respect, I said, I'm not going to say what the president told me, because whatever the president tells you is in strict confidence, and you need to respect his privacy. Sure. So for that reason, I'm not going to pursue that matter further. What I'm going to say is, let them controvert.
Over the net.
According to me, okay, according to me, it's not really about whether the president called me or didn't call me. Yeah, as I told you, much as the call was there, and much as whatever we discussed, out of respect, I said, I'm not going to say what the president told me, because whatever the president tells you is in strict confidence, and you need to respect his privacy. Sure. So for that reason, I'm not going to pursue that matter further. What I'm going to say is, let them controvert everything that I'm showing Kenyans about the projects they've been launching, because those tombstones have the name His Excellency Dr. William Ruto on them. Some of them, he's launched them when he is president. He wants to put across a lie that something happened along the way. And I know where he's coming with that lie. He wants to say is when he was deputy president and maybe he was being frustrated and so on and so forth. Yeah. What about these ones that I'm talking about, which happened when he is president, all right? And what is the president's willingness to fight corruption? Because you see, as long as we have a corrupt president, we cannot have a country that will end corruption. Because we'll receive a PR exercise on TV that the president is interested in fighting corruption when the president himself is corrupt.
Now, the other thing you were saying is some projects are even initiated twice.
Yeah, they're launched twice.
Like which ones?
I can give you a perfect example. In Nyandarua County, Captain Demi, Wanjohi, Kwamatu, Geta, Kahuruko, Ndunyunjeru Road, His Excellency Dr. William Samoei Ruto launched that road on the 26th of November 2018. He came back there on the 6th of April 2023 and launched it again.
The same thing.
4.4 billion Kenya shillings he allocated to it. Why launch the road twice and never work on it?
And it's still not complete.
Yeah, I just saw this morning, yesterday, the member of parliament say that the contractors have come back on site miraculously after I spoke. I'm happy it's working. It means I'm doing my job as the leader of opposition. My job is not to praise the government. It is Hussein's job to praise the government. My job is to make sure that the government is doing its job. You
know, you just mentioned the official leader of the opposition, because we have no opposition.
Yeah.
There's no opposition.
The opposition, the one that we had is an appendage of the executive.
And parliament has become a rubber stamp.
Yeah.
So we need more of you people to speak out.
We need more of me. And as you've seen, my students have been doing well. I encouraged Kenyans, go to the nearest project that is near your village, look at it, make sure that it is being done up to standard, or if it is stalled, record it and send it back. I'll retweet it for you. And Kenyans have been doing that. There are places that have not gone, that Kenyans have already gone, and they've recorded videos. For example, a Kenyan went to Masinjeri Primary School, where 1 million shillings was spent to buy goalposts. Oh yeah, for a primary school.
Goalposts?
Yes. A Kenyan went to the Lower Nzoia irrigation project, phase 1, which was launched by President William Ruto on the 7th of June 2019. And let's not bring this amorphous conversation that the deputy president had no real influence in the government. The deputy president was the deputy president constitutionally. You cannot say government stopped running because the deputy president was in any disagreement with any politician. Government projects were still running in every ministry. We just have a president that lies. He cannot escape any opportunity to lie to Kenyans. Recently, there was an opportunity to lie about university funding, and he could not let the minister lie. He had to take it up for himself and lie and say that he received a HELB loan in 1987 when actually HELB itself was constituted in the 1990s. He just can't help it. The president's word should mean something to the people of Kenya. The president's word should mean something. It should be valuable. When the president tells you, I will do, it should be law. But now we have a president who just promises and promises and promises, but he has no intention of doing it. Just playing politics throughout, and the politics of dishonesty. This is a one-term president. We can't have this. If he doesn't resign before 2027, yeah, then he's a one-term president because he's not going to win that election in 2027.
Are you going to stand for someone coming to office?
There's only one problem in Kenya. These corrupt individuals have acquired so much billions for them to campaign, and we've commercialized our politics. So we have two problems. We've commercialized our politics and allowed the politicians to steal. So they're the ones with the highest amount of money to run an election. But I can assure you this, Jeff. If you send me your 1,000 bob, and your cameraman here send me 100 bob, and some people in the diaspora send me this, and I have enough money to run against President William Ruto, oh, you'll have a hell of a time. You'll have a hell of a time. He'll not believe it.
You would do it?
Yeah, because I've never held any government position. I've never been charged with I've never been convicted of a criminal offense. He doesn't have anything against me. What will he be saying in his rallies? But I'll be having a lot to say, including his 900-acre ranch in Kilgoris, where his own neighbor doesn't have last-mile connectivity. I was there personally, at his ranch in Kilgoris, where he even has a private airstrip where he lands. Yet his neighbor doesn't have last-mile connectivity. He has diverted a contractor that is supposed to build the Kilgoris-Lolgorian road to his private home to build his road. This president is out of his mind. For sure, the young people of this country are extremely disappointed with the amount of dishonesty from this president. We even expected that when he appoints his cabinet, he's going to be, trimmed down the cabinet, because we were complaining about wastage of public funds. Why do we need to have a Ministry of Environment and still a Ministry of Water and Sanitation? This is one and the same thing. Have them as one ministry. Why should we have a cabinet secretary without portfolio? What the hell is that? That's like saying car without engine or human being without brain.
Well,
right, yeah? Isn't it?
Absolutely.
Or mother without child. It's unbelievable that we can have a cabinet secretary without ministry.
And he attends
Mfanyakazi bila kazi.
Bila kazi.
That's a joke, for sure. We expected that, for example, he would disband this thing called the Ministry of Civil Service. Why should we have a Ministry of Public Service when there is the head of Civil Service, the Public Service Commission, and every other government agency? Every county has the Public Service Board. The judiciary has the Judicial Service Commission. Parliament has the Parliamentary Service Commission. So why are we having the public service? Why do we have a Ministry for East African Community Affairs when we have the Ministry of Foreign Affairs? Why do we have ASAL's development when it can be in the Ministry of the State Department of Economic Planning? We just have a bloated government of people driving around with flags, wasting public funds. For example, I told you about this road. You see, this road keeps coming to my mind. In Muranga, Ikumbi, Kagundu Road. Kenha paid a contractor 1.4 million on the day of the launch to just set up a tent for the president to just, where he will stand and say, hii barabara sasa itatoka hapa, itaenda mpaka hapa, itaenda mpaka kule. They are burning public funds in fuel to go and launch roads that they don't intend to complete or even do.
Goodness, there's so much rot in this government. I want to take a break, come back, talk some more, because there's a lot to talk about. There's a
lot to talk about.
But, again, we worry about you. We worry because,
as you've heard from the state house spokesperson, he has said the president never called me, which is okay. they have an honest man lying for them. That is quite a plus on their part. But in the fullness of time, you know, the goodness with truth is like light and darkness. All right?
Yeah.
At some point, it will come out.
Yeah, they say the truth shall set you free.
Always.
Keep tweeting at Kwenango Jeff at Citizen2 Kenya. The hashtag is JK Live.